This is the story of Julie Kenner, her journey from Boulder, Colorado to Monterey, California, and her many adventures in between. Julie received an early education in the art of travel. Born in Boulder, Colorado, the next few years she would find herself in Santa Barbara, California, Washington, D.C., then at 8 years old across the Atlantic Ocean in Yaoundé, Cameroon, with her mother, Foreign Service stepfather and sister. Cameroon brought Julie and her sister a lovely new companion, Jojo. The next year brought her to Istanbul, Turkey, where she attended an international school on the grounds of the ancient castle Rumeli Hisar. She got appendicitis and, as part of the recovery, discovered the deliciousness of chocolate-covered apricots and visited Europe and Greece on school breaks. At 12, she moved to Kano, Nigeria, and lived in a house with a driveway made of rose quartz. Then it was back to the States. Julie's parents decided to get back to nature, and that meant Middlebury, Vermont. Julie missed the warmth of Africa. Next, it was Bristol, Vermont, where her parents bought 20 acres of land. She learned to milk cows, tend to ducks, goats, and pigs. At 15, she taught herself to drive stick, and then she drove her mother's car into a tree. 2 years later, with her sister behind the wheel, their car flipped over twice on an icy road. Julie hugged her sister in the upside-down vehicle and told her all would be okay. And it was. 18-year-old Julie competed in England as captain of her high school field hockey team. She graduated class president and valedictorian. Julie never set foot in frigid Vermont again. During these years, she worked summers at Walter Reed Army Medical Institute of Research, studying neuroscience, behavioral science, immunology, infectious diseases, and tropical medicine. Summer also brought trips as a Sierra Club leader, repairing trails in Yosemite. She developed a profound love for California. Julie became a master hiker, sometimes hiking 18 hours at a stretch, ascending and descending many thousands of feet, oblivious to the heavy gear. Julie went to college at Duke University, studying at the Marine Biology Lab in Beaufort, North Carolina. She hit the books at Duke and even sank her teeth into a white shark. Her junior year in college, she was on the move again. This time, living with a Japanese family and doing independent research at Duke-Gaku studying neuroscience. At 22, Julie joined the Army on a health professions scholarship program and enrolled in the MD-PhD program at Boston University. During this time, she took several trips to visit her sister in Brazil, then spent 2 months studying medicine in Bahia, Brazil, with an infectious disease doctor and living with the Brazilian medical students. She took side trips to Peru and to Ecuador, where she climbed to 18,000 feet. A few summers later, she visited Kenya to surprise a colleague friend there on a Peace Corps mission. They had a marvellous time travelling together to see the big animals. Soon she was back in Kenya doing malaria research near the Uganda border with the US Army. After receiving her PhD, Julie moved to Washington, D.C. for her final clinical years of medical school at George Washington University. Then it was off to Honolulu for her internship, then Fort Detrick, Maryland, to research bioterrorism for the US Army. In 1995, Julie started her residency in dermatology at Walter Reed Medical Center, working on the side at the White House as a social aide to the President and First Lady. She visited her sister in Singapore and toured around Southeast Asia over the summer holidays. Soon it was back to Hawaii for her first assignment after her residency, serving the whole Pacific Rim's dermatology needs via telemedicine and in person at Tripler Army Medical Center. Julie partly designed and oversaw construction of a multi-level home on the hills of Lanikai while preparing for her dermatology board exam. During this period, Julie also did medical missions in Mongolia, Kwajalein, and the Solomon Islands. In 2001, she left the Army and started a private practice in Kailua, Hawaii, on Oahu. Julie continued to research bioterrorism while working for a small research firm 8 days in San Francisco, then working clinical medicine in Kailua for 6 days. Julie took some time to travel with her family to Alaska, and as a thank God you survived present to her dad. She tried to relive her French from her childhood days living in Francophone Africa by spending some time in southern France. Stateside again, Julie bought and remodeled a Victorian house in San Francisco. She enjoyed and entertained her large family in San Francisco and Hawaii. For the next 14 years, she toggled back and forth from San Fran to Kailua. Her practice in Hawaii grew large and successful. She volunteered her services to the medical team for Ironman. She spotted triple rainbows and worked on several patents for skin products. At the age of 48, Julie gave birth 6 weeks early to her darling twin girls, Abby Rose and Ella, and became the 4th generation in her family to have twin girls. Julie soon sold her remodeled home in San Francisco and her practice in Kailua and moved to Monterey, California to be closer to the girls as grandparents. She bought a marvellous 165-year-old Adobe in Old Monterey and started Skin Happy MD. Having seen much of the world, Julie Kenner is convinced there is no place more marvellous than where she is right now.